What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into a story so wild it makes you wonder if we've officially hit rock bottom. A game publisher got caught in what can only be described as the saddest attempt at deception since your aunt tried to tell you her tuna salad was vegan. They used fake AI generated influencers to promote their game. We're talking about digital puppets that look like they were rendered on a potato with a fever. This isn't just a simple mistake, it's a corporate faceplant of epic proportions. It's a hilarious look into the mind of a marketing department that thought, you know, what's better than paying a real person?
Paying a computer to make a person that look like it's melting.
We're going to break down this magnificent failure piece by glorious piece. So grab your popcorn because this is a story that proves nothing is funnier than a multi-billion-dollar company being a complete idiot. So the game is the First Descendant, and the publisher is Nexon. Now to promote their new season, they unleashed these weird ads on TikTok. The idea was to mimic real gamers, but the execution was, well, a masterpiece.
Or a misfire.
The influencers looked like they were animated by a student on their third energy drink, just a bunch of weird jittery faces with a disturbing lack of eyebrows. You know, like that person from the prison movie, the albino person. The viewers, who are all experts in human faces, immediately called them out. The faces looked like wax figures left in the sun for too long. Their movements were jerky, the voice sounded like a GPS giving you directions to the nearest existential crisis, with the emotional range of a damp paper towel. It was the perfect example of the uncanny valley where things are so close to human, it makes you want to get your phone blessed by a priest. They looked so fake they almost made TV commercials look like documentaries. But the best part, they didn't just create random fakes. They straight up ripped off a real streamer, Daniel the Demon. Imagine this, you are minding your own business and a company uses your face to hawk their game. It's like finding out your doppelganger is an unpaid intern. The audacity is just
magnifique.
So, of course, the ruthless internet starts roasting them. And what does Nixon do? Do they apologize? Do they ever admit they messed up? Ah, of course not. They put out a statement claiming these videos were, and get this, submitted by a creator who participated in the TikTok Creative Challenge.
Okay.
And they're investigating the irregularities with the social media app. Yeah, I'm sure it was an...
Irregularity.
This is the corporate equivalent of a kid with a cookie-covered face saying, "It wasn't me, the dog did it. The dog taught me how to use the oven." They're trying to pin this on TikTok, as if TikTok's job is to stop companies from being idiots. It's an insult to everyone's intelligence. No one, and I mean no one, is freaking buying that. This is so much more than just a bad ad. This is a fundamental attack on trust. The entire influencer economy is built on the flimsy concept that you trust a stranger on the internet more than a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And now, they've ruined that for everyone. When a company uses an AI to trick you, it's basically saying your trust is a joke and we can recreate it with a few lines of code. It makes you wonder if the next unboxing video is just a robot with a box cutter. It's a complete disrespect for real creators who put in the work and a total middle finger to the audience who believed in them. This garbage is what we're calling AI slop. It's the lowest of the low. It's the content equivalent of a sad, soggy hamburger. It's lazy, it's cheap, and lacks any kind of soul or creativity. The goal isn't to be good. It's just to exist as a placeholder for real content. The AI couldn't even get the basics right. The faces were a mess. The dialogue was monotone. They didn't even try to make it look like they cared. It's a perfect example of what happens when you prioritize cost-cutting over everything else. You get garbage that's obviously so garbage it becomes a viral meme. So the question is, why did they do this? Well, it's simple. Money and control. On a spreadsheet, it looked like a genius move. Why pay a dozen influencers when we can generate 1,000 robots for free? They wanted to have total control. An AI doesn't demand a fee, it doesn't get into a Twitter fight, and it doesn't give a bad review.
But also it doesn't give a freaking F.
Unfortunately for Nixon, they forgot one little small detail. People can smell a fake from a mile away. The damage to their brand from this one cheap move is probably going to cost them more in PR nightmares than hiring every single streamer on Twitch. It's a hilarious case of short-sighted greed blowing up in their faces. Boom! And the best part of this whole story is the community's reaction. Gamers didn't just shrug and move on. They got angry. They saw this for what it was, a betrayal. They took it personally because the gaming community is built on real people, real personalities, and real passions. The players all gathered and said, "Nice try, but no." The unified outrage was glorious to see. It showed that despite all the fancy AI tech, a brand's most valuable asset is still the loyalty and trust of its audience. Now that you cannot fake, no matter how many digital puppets you create. And what was the real world consequence of this digital disaster? Well, the community's collective ew was a bigger problem than Nexon probably imagined. The negative press was everywhere. News outlets, YouTube channels, and social media feeds were all just a 24/7 roast of the company's marketing department. You can't put a price basically on that kind of public humiliation. This wasn't just a quiet PR hiccup, it was a full-blown crisis. You've got a massive well-known company being mocked on a global scale. It likely had a real impact on their reputation and, potentially, their stock price. They traded a few dollars saved for a permanent stain on their brand's reputation. The whole thing just screams,
We have no idea what we are doing.
now, is this the first time we've seen this kind of deception? Please, the internet was built on lies. We went from the Nigerian prince asking for a small loan to a guy promising to show you a picture of his hot aunt, but it was just a picture of his dog. Then came Photoshop fails and early CGI that looked like a video game cutscene from 2003. We've seen it all. But this is different. This isn't just a person lying. It's a machine lying on behalf of a company. It's the natural evolution of online scamming. The technology has gotten so good that the lies are now sophisticated, which makes this particular case even funnier because they used tech that was clearly not that good.
It's like they skipped the evolution and went from ape to primate to gorilla instead of being human.
This whole debacle really highlights the value of being an actual imperfect human. An AI won't ever have that moment where it's just genuinely excited about a game. It won't stumble over its words or show a flicker of genuine emotion. It won't do something silly that makes you laugh because it's actually real. Human influencers can have a bad hair day, get angry at a developer, or make a joke that falls flat. Those imperfections are what makes them relatable. An AI is just, well, a sterile, flawless lie. And in this case, it wasn't even flawless. Honestly, the most comedic moments of these ads were the parts where the AI tried and failed to be human. It proved that in the end, our little human flaws are our best weapon against digital deception. You know what's going to happen next. Some genius is going to create a consulting firm called
AI ethics now. Rights reserved, by the way, guys.
and charge companies $1 million to tell them not to do this. They will have PowerPoints with stock photos of diverse people shaking hands, and the whole message will be, we help you.
To avoid being a viral idiot.
This lone incident is going to spawn a whole new ridiculous industry of people selling common sense. They'll show up at corporate meetings and say,
We advise our clients against using deeply unsettling digital fakes in their ad campaigns.
it's basically like selling a course on how to breathe. It's a perfect example of how a problem can lead to a hilarious over-engineered solution. And now let's talk about the unsung hero in all of this. Us, the audience. We are now so good at spotting fakes that it's become a new form of entertainment. We've collectively developed this sixth sense for spotting AI-generated garbage, and when we find it, we immediately turn it into a meme. It's a hilarious coping mechanism. We've basically gone from being passive consumers to active detectives. We are the ones forcing companies to be honest, not regulators or ethics communities. It's a beautiful, chaotic thing. We've essentially become a free, global, and highly effective QA team for corporate honesty. Our collective ability to mock a bad ad is more powerful than any legal action.
Yay, go team consumers.
Okay, let's get a little geeky. This was probably a mix of a few terrible tools, a cheap AI voice generator for the dialogue, then a facial animation AI to try and make it look like they're talking. The results were so freaking bad, it's like they used a free trial version of the software. I can just picture the developers shrugging and saying,
Good enough, Doc, eh?
Now let's be honest, the best part of this whole story is just how painfully, soul-crushingly cringe the ads were. It's one thing to make a bad ad, but it's another to make an ad that physically makes you recoil. The awkward pauses, the soulless stares, the dead tone of voice. It makes you want to scream at the screen saying, blink you magnificent piece of junk, just blink! Every moment of these ads felt like a hostage situation. It was so uncomfortable to watch, it felt like I was an accomplice to a crime. They weren't just trying to sell us a game, they were trying to sell us a vision of a soulless synthetic future where nobody has to emote or even be alive to be an influencer, and that, my friends, is truly the peak of comedy. So what's next? You know that Nexon is going to try this again, right? They will learn their lesson and then immediately try to do it again, but with better tech. The next ad campaign will feature AI influencers that look just a little bit too real, and they'll probably have some catchy but ultimately meaningless slogan like AI. That feels alive.
Once again, rights reserved.
They just won't learn their lesson that people want authenticity. They will learn the lesson that their AI wasn't good enough. The sequel to the story will be more terrifying than funny. It will be an ad that you look at and you can't tell if it's real or not, and you'll just have to live with that unsettling feeling forever. This whole thing is going to create a new market for AI-free content. People will start advertising their videos by saying 100% human made. It's like how people advertised organic food. It's going to be the new gold standard for content creators, and it's a ridiculous thing to have to put on your resume. Warning, this video was created by a real person with a real face and real emotion, don't be fooled by the fakes. Now honestly, as a fan, you feel a kind of special kind of betrayal. You get excited about a game, you get excited about the community, and then a company tries to sell you on it with a piece of cardboard. It's like they invited you to a party and then introduced you to a mannequin they found in an alley. It's a weird, unsettling, and insulting experience. You as a fan want to feel a connection to the brand, to the game, and to the people who play it. This whole incident proves that Nexon doesn't get that. They don't understand that the fans' experience is built on a foundation of trust. And they just took a wrecking ball to that foundation just to save a few bucks on a digital puppet show. Now, in all honesty, to be fair, now AI isn't all that bad. This same technology can be used for things like creating more realistic avatars for disabled people, for example, or for building virtual assistants that can help people with real-world problems. It has so much potential to be good, but instead they used it to make a fake person with a dead-eyed stare to sell a game. It's the digital equivalent of using a super powerful computer to calculate which is the best brand of toilet paper. It's a complete waste of potential. The technology itself is neutral. It's the intent behind it that matters, and in this case, the intent was to deceive and cut corners. They've proved that AI in the wrong hands is not a tool for innovation, but a tool for creating a cheap, soul-crushing lie. Now, what will this incident be remembered for? Probably not for the First Descendant. It's going to be remembered as the moment a major company tried to get away with a cheap AI-generated lie and failed spectacularly. It's the kind of story that gets brought up in marketing class for decades to come, as a cautionary tale titled How to Lose Your Audience in 30 Seconds with a Digital Puppet. It will be a landmark moment in the history of online advertising. It's the kind of thing that makes you pause and think, wow, that actually happened? It's a reminder that even in an age of incredible technology, a company's biggest failure can still come down to a basic human flaw, a lack of honesty. So where do we go from here? This ad campaign was a big blinking red light. The AI we see today is primitive. The next generation will be terrifyingly good. Soon it's going to be impossible to tell what's real and what's not. This is just the beginning of a storm of digital fakes. We're entering a new era where you won't be able to trust your own eyes. We will need new technologies like digital watermarks just to verify what we are looking at. The technology to deceive is outpacing our ability to detect. This is a very real problem, and it's not a laughing matter, except for this specific case, which is hilarious. So that's basically the whole story. A masterpiece of corporate idiocy. Nixon's attempt to use AI to trick their audience backfired in the most spectacular way possible. Their pathetic excuse is just a cherry on top of the whole clown show. This whole thing is hilarious, but an important reminder that authenticity is still king. In a world where companies are trying to pass off AI slop as genuine, the real human voice becomes more valuable than ever. It's a commodity that an algorithm cannot copy, and for that we can all be thankful.